You know the hour I mean. It is long past dark, the house is quiet, everyone you love is asleep, and yet your mind will not lie down with the rest of you. It is up and pacing, going over a thing you said years ago, worrying at a problem that has no answer at this hour, running the same worn path again and again. The old ones knew that restless mind too. They did not have our word for it, but they had a way to quiet it, and tonight I want to sit with you and tell it to you slow, so that by the time the fire burns low, your mind might finally lie down and rest. So settle in. There is nothing you have to fix while you listen to me, nothing you have to decide, nowhere you have to be. For the length of this fire, you can set it all down. That is the first small mercy I can offer you, and I mean it. Whatever is turning in your head right now, it will still be there in the morning if it truly needs you, and most of it will not. So let it wait. Just for a while, let it wait, and sit here with an old man and the fire, and let me tell you what the old ones knew about a mind that will not be still. The old ones had a picture for a mind like this, and I have always loved it, because the first time I heard it, I felt understood in a way I had not before. They said a troubled mind is like a pond after you have been stirring it. The water is churning, the mud is up off the bottom and swirling through everything, and you cannot see down into it, no matter how hard you stare. And here is the part that matters. The harder you try to force that water clear, the more you reach in and stir at it, the muddier it gets. You cannot clean a pond by beating it. But leave it be, the old one said. Just leave it be a while. Stop reaching in. And the mud settles all on its own, slowly, quietly, without any help from you, and the water goes clear again, and you can see straight down to the bottom the way you could before. Your mind, tonight, is that pond. And most of what we do when we cannot stop thinking is reach in and stir and wonder why it will not come clear. Now, the first thing I want you to hear, before I tell you a single one of the old remedies, is this. You are not broken. There is nothing wrong with you. A mind that will not stop is not a sign of weakness, and it is not a sign that you are losing your grip, and it is surely not a punishment. It is a tired, loving, worried mind doing exactly what a tired, loving, worried mind does. So do not add, on top of the worrying, the second worry, the worry about the worrying, the shame that says what is wrong with me, that I cannot just relax. That second layer is the real weight, and you can set it down right now. You are a person who has lived a long time and carried a great deal and loved a great many people, and your mind at night is only showing you the shape of all that carrying and loving. There is no shame in it anywhere. Hear that first, because none of the rest of it will help if you are still holding a whip over yourself. And let me say something about why it seems to get worse as the years add up, because I have heard so many people your age and mine wonder about that, as if the racing mind were a new failing. It is not. Think of it plainly. The older you get, the more past you have to replay. A young person lies awake and worries about one thing, because they have only lived a little while. But you have decades back there, whole lives inside your one life, people you have lost, choices you cannot unmake, words you wish you had said, and words you wish you had swallowed. And you have more people to worry over, not fewer, because your love has had all these years to spread out and take root in children and grandchildren and old friends. So of course the mind is fuller at night. Of course it has more to turn over. A racing mind at 70 is not a broken mind. More often, it is the mind of someone who paid attention, who cared about a great many things and a great many people, and is now lying in the dark with the whole weight of all that caring. That is not a sickness. In its own hard way, that is love, keeping you up past your bedtime. It is just love that has forgotten how to rest. So here is the first of the old remedies, and it is the deepest one, so I will go slow. The old ones understood something that took me most of my life to learn, which is that you are not your thoughts. Sit with that a moment. There is the thought, and then there is the one who notices the thought, and those are not the same. When a worry comes walking through your mind at 3 in the morning, there is the worry, and there is you watching it come. And you are the watcher, not the worry. This sounds like a small thing, and it is the most freeing thing I know. Because it means you do not have to believe every thought that walks through. You do not have to chase it or argue with it or follow it down into the dark. A thought is not a command. A thought is not the truth just because it showed up wearing your own voice. Most of the thoughts that torment us at night are not even true. They are fears dressed up as facts, and if you chase them, you only give them your strength. The old ones learned instead to let a thought pass the way you let a bird cross the sky. You see it. You do not have to catch it. You do not have to shoot it down either, which is its own kind of stirring. You just let it fly on across and out the other side, and you stay where you are, the quiet sky it is passing through. Try it tonight. When the thought comes, do not fight it and do not follow it. Just notice it, name it kindly. There is that old worry again, and let it pass on by. You are the sky. You are not the birds. Now the second remedy is a plain and bodily one, and it works when the first is too hard, which some nights it will be. The old ones knew that the mind lives in two places it cannot actually reach. It lives in the past, going over what is already done, and it lives in the future, rehearsing what has not happened and mostly never will. Those are the only two places a racing mind ever goes. But your body, your breath, your two hands, the ground under you, they only ever live in one place, and that place is now. So the old way home from a spinning mind is down through the body into this present moment, because the present moment is the one place the worry cannot follow you. Feel your breath going in and going out. You do not have to change it. Just feel it, the cool of it coming in, the warmth of it leaving. Feel the weight of your own hands resting. Feel the bed or the chair holding you up, holding all of your weight so that you do not have to. Hear the small sounds of the house at night, the wind at the window, the settling of the walls. Every one of those is happening now, and now is the one time where you are safe, because the thing you are worrying about is not in this room. It is in the past, which is gone, or the future, which has not come. Here, in this breath, there is only you and the fire and the quiet, and here you can rest. The old ones did not have a fancy name for this. They just knew that a person could come home to their senses the way you come home to your own house and find peace waiting there like a lamp left burning. The third remedy is about the night especially, and I want you to take it to heart because it is where so much of our suffering lies. Worrying in the dark solves nothing. I will say it again because it is worth hearing twice. Worrying in the dark solves nothing. There is not one problem in your life that will be closer to solved at 3 in the morning than it will be at 9 when the sun is up and you have had your coffee and your wits are about you. The night mind is not your wise mind. The night mind sees everything as bigger and darker and more hopeless than it is, because that is what tiredness and darkness do to a person. So the old ones had a practice, and it was a kind of prayer, though you may call it what you like. At the end of the day, they handed the unfinished worry up to the Creator, up to the morning, up to whatever is greater than you and does not sleep. They said in so many words, "This is more than I can carry tonight, and I'm going to set it down and trust that I will be given what I need to face it in the light." And then they let the night be for what the night is for, which is rest, not solving. Now hear me. This is not giving up, and it is not pretending the trouble is not real. It is trusting that the night is not the time, and that you were never meant to hold the whole weight of your life awake in the dark alone. Set it down. It will keep. The morning is stronger than the midnight, and you will be stronger in it. Give the worry to the morning, and give yourself to sleep. There is another of the old remedies I would be wrong to leave out, and it is one we have half forgotten in these lonely times, so listen. A worry kept caged inside one skull grows teeth, but a worry spoken aloud to one trustworthy soul nearly always shrinks. The old ones knew this, which is why they sat in council, why they talked their troubles out around the fire instead of swallowing them. There is something about saying the fear out loud in plain words to a face that cares about yours, that cuts it down to its true size. Half the monsters that stalk us at 3 in the morning cannot survive being spoken in daylight to a friend. They only have their power in the dark, in the silence, where they can grow as big as they please because no one is there to say, "That is not so bad," or "I have felt that too," or simply, "I am here." So do not carry it all alone inside your own head. That is the very condition in which an overthinking mind does its worst work, sealed up with no air and no other voice. Tell someone. Tell a friend, tell your child, tell the old man by this fire if there is no one else, tell the Creator out loud in the empty kitchen if that is all you have. Say the worry in real words to something outside your own skull, and watch how much smaller it is once it has been let out into the air. We were never meant to be the only ones who knew what we were afraid of. The mind heals in company. It festers alone. And there is a fourth remedy. For the daytime mind, the one that churns not in bed but while you are trying to live your day. The old ones knew that a busy, worried mind grows quiet when the hands are put to honest work. There is a reason our grandmothers were forever doing something with their hands, mending and cooking and tending and making, and it was not only that the work needed doing. The work was medicine for the mind. A mind that has too much to think about and nothing to do turns on itself and eats itself. But give that same mind a task for the hands, a garden to tend, a meal to cook, a thing to fix, a letter to write, a walk to take out on the land, and the churning eases, because the mind was never meant to run with no work in front of it. And the very best work of all, the old one said, the strongest medicine there is for a mind stuck on its own troubles, is to do one small good thing for someone else. Go and help a neighbor. Call the person you have been meaning to call. Do the quiet kindness no one will ever know you did. Nothing pulls a mind up out of its own deep rut faster than turning it towards someone else's need. The overthinking mind is a mind curved in on itself, and the good deed is the hand that gently turns it back outward, toward the world, toward the living, toward the light. Too much thinking is very often cured by a little more doing, and a little more gratitude, and a little more love spent outward instead of worry spent inward. Let me tell you about a woman I knew, because she taught me this better than any teaching could. She was a widow, older than I am now, and she had every reason in the world for a mind that would not rest. She had buried a husband and, God have mercy, a grown child, and she lived alone at the end of a long road. And you would think, would you not, that a woman like that would lie awake every night drowning in it? But she was one of the most peaceful souls I have ever known, and one day I asked her how. I said, "How do you not lie awake with all of it?" And she smiled at me, the way the old ones smile when a young fool asks a real question, and she said, "Oh, I used to. For years I used to. And then I got tired of being at war with my own mind every night, and I made my peace with it instead." She said, "Now, when the worries come at night, I do not fight them and I do not chase them. I just say, I know, not now, we will tend to you in the morning." And then she said she would put her hand on her own heart, like this, an old woman's hand on her own chest in the dark, and she would feel it beating, and she would breathe, and she would thank the Creator for one more day of that heartbeat, and she would count the small good things of the day just past: the warmth of the stove, the taste of her supper, the sound of a bird, until she drifted off in the middle of the counting. She did not have any of the fancy words for what she was doing. She was letting the pond settle. She was coming home to her body. She was handing the night to the morning and turning her mind at the very last toward gratitude instead of fear. She had found, all on her own out at the end of that long road, every one of the old remedies, because they are not really secret and they are not really complicated. They are just the quiet things a peaceful heart learns to do when it has finally grown tired of suffering and decided to rest instead. So let me bring us back to the pond, because that is where I want to leave you. All this time you have been trying to make the water clear by force, reaching in and stirring, and calling that effort and calling it responsibility, and wondering why the harder you work at your own peace, the further it gets from you. But the clear water was there the whole time. It was there at the bottom the whole time, under all that churning. You never had to make the peace. You do not have the power to make peace by force any more than you can force a pond to clear by beating it. And thank goodness you do not, because it means the whole exhausting job was never yours to begin with. All you have to do is stop stirring. Let the birds fly across the sky and do not chase them. Come home to your breath and the ground and the quiet of the house. Hand the night's worry up to the morning and to the one who does not sleep. And when you can, in the daytime, put your hands to some honest work and your heart towards some small kindness. Do those quiet things, or even just one of them, and the mud settles on its own, and the peace that was always down there at the bottom rises up clear and still to meet you. You were never as far from it as your racing mind told you. It was under the noise the entire time, waiting, the way the clear water waits under the mud, the way morning waits under the dark. So it is late now, and the fire is low, and it is time for you to rest. Set the day down. You have carried it well, and it is finished, and it does not need you any more tonight. Whatever is still unsolved, let it be unsolved until the morning, because the morning will hold what the night cannot, and you were never meant to hold it alone in the dark anyway. Lay your worries down at the foot of this fire and leave them here with me. I will keep them, and I promise you they will keep. Feel your breath. Feel the weight of you sinking down into rest. Put your own hand on your own heart if it comes easy, and feel it beating, faithful as it has been all your long life, and be thankful for it. The pond is settling. The water is going clear. Your mind at last is lying down beside you, quiet now, ready to rest. Sleep easy tonight. There is nothing here in the dark to fear, and nothing that cannot wait for the light. Breathe and let go and rest. I will keep the fire.